Welcome back to the show
Let's get it going.
on this wild Wednesday.
Country's going crazy.
Yeah, going absolutely crazy. Going crazy. I don't know. I changed cameras today too, so now
Lots of changes over there in Schuman Studio 101.
yeah, Schuman Studio.
No, sweetie.
And it's yeah, so we're moving right along. So let's get right into it. What do we got? What do we got going on today? I have some stuff on recruiting for you,
Excellent.
and then what's Football Scoops got on the latest?
Let's see what's on the. They did a couple articles on Saban. How his staff is going about. Some new hires. LSU. I think it was LSU. Is it LSU? I think LSU has their defensive coordinator in place, I believe. Or am I wrong? I think it might. Maybe it's.
Well, let's open with this. One of Saban's players talked about, and I have it in the headline, what makes Saban such a tremendous football coach, and we want to talk about that, and let's go and let's get right to it, and in these. Interesting times. The president just spoke, and then Biden spoke. I don't know if you saw that earlier.
Yeah, the president said it's time to go home.
Yeah. Let's protest and do things the right way. If you're going to protest, if you can't, time to go home. All right, then so let's go into so one of his players. And I just want to make sure I get this right. I think you can see it on the screen, right?
Yep.
They talk about it. I'm just going to kind of read a little bit of it. So there's always discussion about, like, Saban talks about the process. Everybody hears about the process in real simple terms. It's about the ability to be excellent at everything you do one day at a time. Tight end Miller Forrestal shared during national title game player. He attacks all little things, the same intensity and ferocity that he attacks the big things. He's better at the little things than anybody else. Thus, he's better at the big things. It's simple, but it's hard to do. So I think let's unpack that. He attacks all little things with the same intensity and ferocity that he attacks the big things. He's better at the little things than anybody else. Thus, he's better at the big things. And there's a lot of a couple things here. Let's see if there's any other good stuff here. I think those are. I think that's the main kind of part of it. Here's wow. We got a lot of people going today. That must be Twitter. Must be because of everything that's going on. Twitter is go. Yeah, it's Twitter. A lot going on and right now. So that means there's a lot more eyeballs going on. So I think what he talks about is, when we talk about doing the little things very well, I think that means that every single day, the sum of the big stuff is the sum of everything that you do every single day. And it's an important thing for coaches to understand and athletes to understand and people in general to understand is that if you want great things to happen, you got to do the right thing over and over and over again. And it can't just be and doing the best you can over and over again. It can't just be planning every single day. It's like you can't take a day off from planning to accomplish things. You can't take a moment off, and you got to do those things. You have to have the big picture in mind, right? Saban has the big picture in mind, and he nails the big picture, but only because he continuously does all the things every single day. And that consistency is I think, the key. It's less about words and it's more about doing and being. And I think that's an important aspect to everything. So what do you think?
I think the consistency. I mean, look, you look at his foundation for everything, and it's, trust the process, trust the process, trust the process. And with that, I think that the idea is, yeah, you want to trust the process, but you have to understand what the process is. And I think there's more. It's more than just a saying. I think the process in that building goes down through every single thing that you do, no matter what, whether
Absolutely.
it's, being held accountable for being on time, whether it's, getting to class and taking care of your school stuff. I mean, I think it's more so how you generally carry yourself
right
every single day, no matter what. Yeah, most of the focus is on you on Saturdays when you're playing and at practice and this and that. And the on the field stuff takes care of itself as long as, you continue to live this quote process day in and day out. And I think, but, the statement, attack the little things as hard as you would the big things. Basically, it just shows you that all of these little things together, doing them the right way, doing them the way that it's expected, when you are part of Alabama, just goes to show you that the sum of all those things together create greatness. And, we can see that in how he coaches. We can see that in the program itself. And I mean, you have a prime example last night with his guy winning the Heisman and more so, yeah, the numbers stand out for themselves, but a lot of the talk was the character that this person is, and kind of displays that, in itself, the way he spoke, the way he thanked certain people, the way he went about it, just kind of goes to show you that if you want to be successful at a high level, this is the way that it's done. And this is, ultimately the best way to practice it.
Yeah. And, football in the kitchen sink. I forgot our intro. Can you believe that? We have this great intro.
We just want to jump into so many things, man. That's what's
happening. So many things, but those who came just on with us, let's hit it because we got a big broadcast going on. A lot of whole things going on in our world right now. But
welcome to Football and the Kitchen Sink. Get ready for in-depth conversation from the world of high school, college, and pro football. Plus some insight about the rest of the world. All this, along with some fun and humor along the way. Pull up a chair, grab a coffee or a beer, and join us. It's Football and the Kitchen Sink. Here are your hosts, Coach Schuman and Coach Depascale.
That's us right there. And, welcome on this wild day. We just unpacked Nick Saban and some of the things that make him great. I preface this before we go into a lot of the coaching candidates with things that you see that he does are things that we can then take with us to really improve this game. So, what are 5 things? And I think this game is going through a lot of changes, football that is, and we're going through a lot of changes as a whole. I saw today the NJFCA put together a group that's working with officials to come up with things. I think that, those are all positive steps, right? That coordination. And I'd like to be a fly in the wall on those because I like to hear what's going on there. And I think there should be transparency in those conversations. So I think it's good to have a group to do it, but we also want to know what went on in those conversations as well as the coaches who are not in those conversations, and how does that affect us? But in our game, what do you see as like the some of the things that need working on and some of the things that you see as solutions?
Well, I mean, on top of the, them talking about the organization and communication with a new committee being formed with the officials and whatnot, we also had a big vote today by the athletic directors, ultimately down in Robbinsville, looking to get, ultimately down to one state champion in New Jersey. pre-group, which I think is a big move ahead. It looks all, we'll find out the official results tomorrow, I believe, but it looks like that's something that's definitely going to be passed, which I think moving forward is big. I think we need collectively, the game itself, I think this year has opened up a lot of eyes in terms of a lot of things that go on behind the scenes and whatnot that need to continue to move forward and continue to evolve. And I think, like you said, I think transparency just, across the board in general, a lot of people, I think the communication should continue to go in a positive direction in order for us to just kind of get better and do better at this game in that regards.
Well, I think there's a bunch of things. So as that part of addressing officiating, I think working with them to find consistent level on certain calls and the way that we approach officiating among all the officials. So, what conduct is acceptable? What conduct is not acceptable? How are you expected to, one group might expect you to act want complete control over the sidelines. Another group may not. How do we call penalties like holding, pass interference? What are gray areas and what are areas that we have to emphatically call the penalties? What are areas when you see certain things like roughing and those kind of things? Because a lot of these plays in high school become flow plays that change the momentum of close games. So consistency, making sure all those things are relevant continues to be an important part of our game, and improving that in a time when officials deal with more than ever, not necessarily fair to them as well, and where we don't have as many officials that want to be part of that job as they used to be. So I think that's a part as well. How do we address that? How do we get more guys and recruit officials that want to be part of the game? That's one big aspect of officiating. The second thing I think is really important, and I guess I see it from a head coach standpoint a little bit more. So I look at it like, as far as within the game goes, what kind of ideals do we have for scheduling and what I would call fair play? And what do I mean by that? Scheduling conversations that give everybody a reasonable chance to compete. Now I'm talking about winning or losing, reasonable chance to compete, and making sure that there's balance among schedules across the board. What do I mean by that? There shouldn't be a situation where a great team plays all bad teams. A great team only plays other great teams unless they want that. That's fine. A good team or a middle-of-the-road team plays only teams better that have been traditionally better than you. This takes time and an investment in the game, because this is not basketball. This is not baseball. This is a game where people are physical. Things happen in football games that it's important to be able to have a level of balance. Now, what do you do about the teams that aren't that good? Okay. Yes, they do have to get better. Okay. But even they deserve a few games that they have an opportunity to compete with other teams that are like them. Do you agree with those kind of sentiments?
If you have a 6-game schedule, it should be looked at like this: 2 games you can win, 2 games that you shouldn't win, 2 games that you can be in.
I would use it like this: 2 games that you have a good chance to win, 2 games that are toss-ups, 2 games that there's a likelihood based on history that you could win. I mean, could lose.
That's right. The way I'm looking at it.
So
it's somewhat of a balance. Now, Can you ever predict that to actually happen that way? Absolutely not. That's why we play this game. That's why you roll out the ball and you go play. That's the way it is. I just think that if you approach it that way, I think it can help you. Now, if you want a team that wants to play so-and-so or like, you know what I mean? You want to play up and say, hey, okay, I'm out to prove the best. Yeah, then go for it, man. Go do your thing. You know, you're always going to have exceptions to certain rules, but I don't feel like if you're consistently, I don't feel like you should just look, if you're a relatively good team, but you're playing mediocre talent, I think somewhere along the lines, however you have to do it, you should be pushed to a higher bar to go play somebody better.
I think when you get a 6-game schedule, right, and then you, let's say, quote unquote, have 3 more games to pick up. Those 3 games, you can tailor those to what you see your team as being in that year. So if you feel like, you know, you're going to take on more challenge that year, you play better teams, right? And then if you're not as strong, then maybe you find teams, you have conversations with other teams that can do that.
The problem I see is that I don't think, and I might be wrong, but you know, some of these guys just don't want to put the work into going and finding these games. Whether it be, depends on, you know, how it works in your building. Like, who has control of that? Does your head coach handle that? Does the athletic director handle that? Who handles it? You know, sometimes I feel like, you know, athletic directors got a lot on their plates. Yeah, I get it. But if part of your job is scheduling, you know, football games, then you have to be on the same page. Hopefully you have a good relationship with your head coach. The two of you can sit down and work something out, you know. If you want to do, you know, say you want to develop or start a rivalry within a school and another, like, you know, maybe one of your buddies coaches at a school that's close and you want to do something, go for it. Start those things. If you want to end a rivalry, don't think just because you've been locked into something for so long that's a necessity that has to do it. Evolve with the times, move ahead. If you're a school that wants to go out of state, go ahead, go do your thing. You know, I think everybody should be given leeway, but set certain parameters so that we can move ahead and just continue to get better, because, you know, this year is unprecedented scheduling wise. But if there's one thing to come out of it, it shows that certain teams are down to play certain teams, right? I mean,
right. Well, I think you had that before. I think,
yeah, and I just think it has to be. There has to be more of it.
I think the more of that we get, the better off we are. And then I think, you know, from like, we can't not be around our players. So obviously these are unprecedented times, but nothing right now tells me that things are changing much for the near future, right? So and I encourage the community on this, how are people getting around their teams? Zoom, to me, is not the answer, and it's good for a little bit, but you're not helping young people by not seeing them. You must see the young people that you help and you coach, and you have to be able to bring that back as soon as we can, because if we bring that back, now we have the opportunity to help these kids. If we don't have the opportunity to help these kids, we can't impact their future. How can a college coach, like it's hard to, you know, you have to get on the phone, getting the phone with everybody. You can't address everybody as a group. If you do, you have a Zoom call, and then you have 3/4 or half the guys there. And then, you know, now there are many things you can do, but it's not the same as that face-to-face interaction and telling somebody how much, you know, you want to help them, putting them in a good position, them seeing your face. Those things are critical. And when we do, like, so right now, obviously, a lot of us don't get to see our players as much as we would like. Some places they are, some places they aren't. We have to be able to utilize some of the new things we know to create solutions that can help us help our players all the time, because obstacles like this, in my opinion, are going to become more and more prevalent, not less prevalent. And I think we're naive if we think that at some point you're going to flip a switch and everything's going to go completely back to normal. Maybe that is the case. Maybe that isn't the case. But what do we learn from the things that we have just experienced that we can help our players? Because the interaction is, I'm sure it's something that you feed off of, I feed off of, and the players feed off of it. The interaction that helps motivate them to be something special, to think about their lives in a better way, to improve their lives, not just on the field, but things that they want to go and accomplish. And I think that's an important aspect. And football does that uniquely, in my opinion, better than anything else.
I agree. I think there's just something about like when you're interacting with your players in a face-to-face, when they see you and they see, look, I know for me, the passion just kind of leaks out, and the fire, the drive, the all of that stuff. It's hard to see that stuff through a Zoom meeting or through a text message, or, the emotion that I know I personally, and you as well, bring to the table every single day, whether it's practice, game day, weight room, just interacting with these guys face to face is something different, and obviously not being able to see these guys face to face every single day, I think it's impacting not only them, but I think it impacts everything in general, the entire atmosphere of things. It's just not what it was, obviously. And I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon. And it's definitely not going to be just flip a switch and go back to what it was. It's going to be a transition phase. And how much are we going to get to? Is it going to be this or is it going to be that? And I think that the whole not knowing exactly where it's going is a little scary, especially, now moving forward, because, if I'm looking at the governing bodies that are within our state itself in Jersey, is that, because these guys lost an entire spring season last year and didn't have anything, I think the focus is so much on that, of having a spring season this year, that they'll sacrifice a lot of other things to make sure that spring season happens.
And they should have a spring season. Then the question is, why wouldn't we? Like, right. And how do we evolve things to deal with things in a sensible manner, so it doesn't become a situation where you're shutting things down, like what we experienced in the football season, that they can just continue to go, and then if something happens, that person is out for a brief period of time, or those persons. But the interruption, and I think this goes for every single athlete out there, like routine is part of the success. When that player who talked about Nick Saban, when he's saying he does all the little things well, that's called consistency. That's called doing things every day. That's called making those sacrifices every day. When you make those sacrifices every day, and then you have to adjust things over and over again, there are people that handle it really well, and then there are young men that don't handle it as well. And in other sports, young women that don't handle it very, very well, and we have to have solutions for that. We don't have not everybody learns the same way, right? So when you're face to face, you can adapt your learning to people, but when you're not face to face, it is way more difficult to adapt your learning to someone. And a lot of kids are not as expressive as maybe they were, because either that's just not their style, or that could be more of what kids are like now today. But because of that, if those kids get out of a routine, it's easy to say, oh, it's on. They've got to want it. Yeah, okay, that's fine for the elite players. Okay, and the guys who know they're going to go Division I or play at a very high level or have complete intrinsic drive. There's a lot of great players that are probably at an 85 to 90% of that drive level, And if you take that away from them, they're going to be down at 75, 70. And, it's easy to just dismiss it and say, well, he should want to have that drive. Well, not everybody has the same situation. Not everybody has the same things going on at home, around them. And so they need to be able to have things that support them beyond and to at the high school level, to entrust that with the coach is important, but to be able to have a support system, knowing that the coach has certain duties, that others have other duties, and that there's a cross-pollination of all those things, and creating that cross-pollination. So there can be things that are done to be able to help those athletes all the time. My sister who works at a college mentioned that, the biggest issue they have is mental health with their athletes. That's the number one issue during all this. Not mental health in a sense that, they're going to do something crazy, but mental health in the sense that they're struggling with not playing their sport. They're struggling with what it all means for them. And there's a lot of athletes that have been playing sports their whole lives and it's been disrupted. And I think we're overly dismissive in this culture of what sports means to people and what it does, not just for you as an athlete, but your overall health and your mental well-being.
I think for a lot of this going on, I think sports has always been, there for some of our student athletes for the most part for their entire life. Some of them, this is their release. This is how they handle their day to day. This is where they go to get, whatever issues that they have going on out. And without this, or being impacted on some level, it's now forced them to do things and not have that safety net of what they rely on to make every day go smooth there for them. And I think that's where you're talking about mental health and things of that nature with athletes is becoming more of an issue because they don't have that to fall back on. And that's kind of what we're dealing with right now. I mean, we see it on a daily basis. Like where now that release is gone. What do I do? And look, it's great when you have the intrinsic motivation to do everything on your own. But like you said, that's rare. That's your top small percentage where, you have certain guys that are just motivated without some type of external push on them. If you have one or two or three of those guys on your team, you're pretty good. For the most part, most of your guys have to be, within an eye's distance, have to be looked at, have to be pushed, have to, see certain things. And we don't have the ability to do that on the same level that we've been. So, you look at us as coaches that are, we're constantly looking at, scrambling, trying ideas, trying things during this unprecedented time that to make things flip for some people, but understand that there's no textbook that goes along with this. We're learning right along with our players, and we're dealing with a lot of things that they're dealing with on the same level. But I do agree with you in the fact that sports are just so overlooked as far as the impact that they have on the day-to-day lives of not just student athletes, but, coaches in general, people in general that want to turn on the game or want to go and do certain things like that. That impact that it has is just, sometimes it's just on a whole nother level. And I think this is really bringing it out to people and showing them, just how important sports really are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that about sums it up there. Coaching changes. Any emerging new news as far as candidates go?
LSU has hired their OC and DC.
Who did they hire as their offensive coordinator?
So let me just pull up the article. Jake Peets and DJ Mangus named new coordinators at LSU. After a season under former LSU offensive coordinator Joe Brady with the Carolina Panthers, Jake Peets as the program will be the new offensive coordinator at LSU.
Where is he from?
He was just with the Panthers. He was the Panthers quarterback coach.
They wanted Joe Brady style back. They want the Joe Brady. Yeah. That's what it comes down to.
Pete brings with him 10 years of NFL experience, as well as time as an analyst in college football with Alabama. Interesting. So that's that. And assistant. Let's see. We shared an update at LSU a few days ago. The belief is that the profession is a good time. Okay, so that's their OC, and then this guy DJ Mangus is coming back to Baton Rouge as the passing game coordinator. So he got two of these guys.
DJ Mangus sounds familiar.
Prior to joining Matt Rule's staff, and he was an analyst on the staff last year during their national championship. So they're basically bringing Joe Brady's disciples back.
Got it.
That's what looks like how he's going to approach this. Obviously, the fan base will be happy because, they're hoping to get that lightning that struck with him with Joe Brady. They're looking to get those guys back in the building and kind of bring that back to life. So I think it's a safe hire for Orgeron. I think he had to make the move. But, let's see. We'll see how it works out. Hopefully they can, they're going to get better. There's no doubt in my mind that LSU will not get better. But I think that's a step in the right direction.
And Joe Brady's a candidate for head coaching jobs as well, correct?
He interviewed for a few of them. And your boy from Kansas City has at this point after today interviewed for every NFL head coaching job available.
Who has?
What's his name? Bellamy? The head coach from the offensive coordinator from Kansas City.
Oh, Bieniemy.
He has now interviewed for every job available.
Interesting. He goes to the Jets, in my opinion.
After or before he wins a Super Bowl?
Well, it's going to have to be you mean, does he leave the team to go? Well, I think the NFL,
The NFL is different. I don't think you do that.
I don't think you have to leave in the NFL, right?
I think you're only allowed to interview through these couple weeks, and then that's it. It's shut down again until after the Super Bowl. The draft is April. I think the draft is like something like 120 days away or something.
Wow.
I love the draft. Oh, we got a lot of bubbles. We got any? Is there any chats going on? No. See, I don't know if I have any access to the chat aspect of this.
You do. There's nothing going in there.
I can see it. I don't see anything.
I mean, there's a ton of the listener. I don't know if you can see the live views on the.
No, I don't see any of that.
Oh well,
the only thing I see is live viewer comments show up on. Yeah, I don't see any of that.
There's no comments today, but I'll tell you what is interesting from a viewership standpoint. Obviously, Twitter's a storm right now, and I would say the highest we've been like concurrent. What would you call it? Concurrent viewers at one time was like, I think it was like 75 or 80. Do you know what we hit today?
And that's as far as people that have like opened it and like listening to us talk?
Actively listening, yes. So
we're at like over 100 people?
Well, no, now it's dropped down to like – so what happens is typically the first 5 minutes it goes like this. I don't know if that's because it goes into their main feed or whatever.
Right, and they can skip it real quick and then
it dips, But it builds like first 5 minutes and it dips. Like the long form stuff, which works really good on YouTube. If you go on our YouTube page,
right,
you'll see a lot. We have a lot of people viewing long form on YouTube because that comes over time. But the live viewer thing now, YouTube does have a really good live viewer thing, but I don't think we're there yet on YouTube but with our stuff like through Twitter and our bigger followings, we hit 250 concurrent viewers today for the first. We still get up around
500 consistently. I'm gonna have to get some lighting and do some stuff. I'm gonna have to be like a wardrobe person.
after, it's funny. Normally, your normal lighting is way better, right, than mine. But you can see how this. I'm just going to get you one. This lighting makes a huge difference. You can see how
it was funny because I was getting my weekly haircut, and the barbers and I were discussing it because each one of them has an individual like light on their station and it's not on all the time, but when they need to get certain angles on your hair, you know what I'm saying, like that and they were talking about how lighting is just so important no matter what, and it obviously makes a huge difference.
I mean, you never really could see my whole face in a normal thing because my lighting is usually worse than yours. But now that I actually have lighting,
right? Because yours is coming from a different,
it's coming up high. Yeah. Actually, I wish I could show it to you. Oh, I could show it to you. Here we go. Let's do this. Let's use my regular phone. Hold on. Just give me a second. Dude, I'll tell you, with everything going on today, my phone's blowing up.
Oh, God. People are going crazy.
All right. I'll kind of give – I don't know if this will do it justice, but I'll Gmail this to you, and then you kind of see.
What'd you do? Just go pick it up, or you ordered one?
Amazon, man. It was like $50 or $60, something like that. Yeah, I could send you what I'll do? I'll create a wish list. Do you have Amazon?
Yeah.
Is it your
It's the same email, just at Gmail.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll send the link. I'll just send the link.
Yeah, just send me the link, and I can go. And look
Yeah. I get it right on my phone. I was because I was looking at yours. First of all, I know you don't have great lighting, and your lighting was so much better than mine. I could barely see myself, and it's light out. Now it's dark. Forget it. You can't even see anything. But when it's dark for me, now I get this lighting, and I realize, oh my God,
you just see the difference.
Derek doesn't even
that's exactly what they have in the shop. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you. Let's see my orders.
Yeah, I just got it. That's exactly what it. And what's that? And that's your phone. What is that? What you have your? What's that? What's in the middle? Oh, is that and that's what? Phone?
So I have my other phone. I'm just recording myself. I'm really just using it as a test to see what it looks like. But basically,
that's part of it. It's on like a stand.
Basically, when you see the kids TikTok, right? Like you ever see a TikTok, they'll use that. Not like how mine's above. They'll lower the stand,
right? And
they'll do the light will be on them when they took their TikTok, so it looks crystal clear. So it looks like they're doing it from a professional camera.
Yeah, it's not
they're using their phone. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Well, that's why we say everybody's a reporter nowadays, and everybody's a photographer, and everybody's this. And then the other thing is how much better is the microphone?
So I'm using mine. You mean the mic I have?
Yeah.
Well, you can hear it. I mean, let me bring it over here. So, I don't want to get too close to it because
I'm saying, I mean, look, man, we got up to, we're at 200 something people. I mean, this is no longer your mom and pop podcast, brother. I mean, this is getting legit.
Well, it's still mom and pop, but it's definitely growing fast. To go to 250.
What is this, episode 23? Troy, you're lucky you're a good-looking kid, bro.
He is a good-looking kid. Look at him in the light. Wow, that's handsome right there. Look at that kid.
Good thing you look like your mom, buddy.
Troy, okay, while we have you, we're going to do a brief one, and then we'll get back to the fun that me and Derek have. We're actually having a really interesting discussion about studio lighting, which normally wouldn't be that interesting, except for the fact that since we're doing these podcasts, it is very interesting because we're trying to figure out the best way to do it.
It's perfect.
Okay, so you know what? So I'll give you one of the earbuds. Can you want to listen? You can hear them. Is it Derek? Say something.
Troy,
is it too loud, or is that okay for you? A little loud. Yeah. All right. So what we'll do is we'll pull it out for. I
don't care though.
All right, you don't care. So all you're gonna do, you're gonna come in here, okay, and you're gonna say. Derek, what do you think should be? Try not to pull my shirt. People don't want to see my chest. Okay. Try.
Obviously, you
You're
tell
gonna get
him
kicked
no,
off the show if that's the case.
Troy, you're going to be the first person to ever get thrown off the show.
Yes. All right. So you have to sit still. Okay.
Whoa, that was a mean look.
All right. So today, okay, what we're gonna do is
here. I got one for him.
He got one. Okay.
Yeah. I've been prepared for this. Troy, you got to tell me. Okay, we're going to go through the 6 football games this weekend.
The 6 football games this weekend,
and you're going to tell me who's going to win.
Okay, you're gonna tell them who's gonna win. All right, can you do that?
You ready, Troy?
All right,
can you hear me?
Keep that close to your ear so
I'm
you can
not
hear.
too loud, right? You're good.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay, Troy.
Listen, you're gonna pick who you think's gonna win. Listen, ready?
The Indianapolis Colts or the Buffalo Bills?
Speaking there. Just say who do you think's gonna win?
Buffalo.
Buffalo?
Say it louder.
Okay.
Say it louder. Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills.
All right, put it there so you can hear.
Are the Los Angeles Rams or the Seattle Seahawks?
Seattle Seahawks.
Yes.
Good.
That's a good pick, buddy.
That's a good
Tampa
pick.
Bay Bucks or the Washington Football Club?
Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the Washington Football Club?
Washington Football Club.
Oh, you're going against the Bucks. Wow, that could get you thrown out of the house.
I'm just saying, if that hits, oh my goodness. All right, the Baltimore Ravens or the Tennessee Titans?
Tennessee Titans.
Okay, good. All right.
The Chicago Bears or the New Orleans Saints?
Chicago Bears.
Oh,
Wow. Controversial picks here.
the Cleveland Browns or Pittsburgh Steelers?
The Cleveland Browns or the Pittsburgh Steelers? Cleveland Browns or
Cleveland Browns.
Say it again. Cleveland who?
Cleveland Browns.
All right, Cleveland Browns. Good.
That's it. So
That's it.
we got the Bills over the Colts, the Seahawks over the Rams, the Washington Football Club over the Bucks,
Ooh.
the Titans over the Ravens, the Bears over the Saints, and the Browns over the Steelers.
Okay, so next Monday
We got to check them.
we're going to check and see how well you did. Should there be a what prize should be if you beat me and Derek? What should be your prize?
Toy.
A toy.
Yeah.
What kind of toy? A Happy Meal toy? What toy?
Regular toy.
All right, a regular toy, like a superhero.
Not like a superhero.
All right, you. A toy, yes. Car, or what?
We want like
Oh,
Legos.
a remote control car. Derek, you're starting. All right, well, if you win, you have to beat me and Derek. Okay, if you win, we'll have to figure out some.
Wait, are you gonna choose the one?
I'm gonna do my picks. Me and Derek will do that next when you leave, and then
But I want to hear you.
you won't. You want to hear me? All right, here we go. Okay.
All right.
So am I going next?
Go through?
All right, let's go through it. So I'll go next.
All right. So Colts or Bills?
Bills. I just think that
The same thing that you did.
is that what you picked, the Bills? I think they're on a roll. I think their quarterback is.
I don't know how he's got to be in the discussion for
He's
MVP.
potentially elite player quarterback.
How crazy is it? You look at the signing of one receiver and Stephon Diggs changes that whole dynamic.
Stephon Diggs is great. And then the Colts, I don't know too much about the Colts because I haven't watched them that much this year. So I just don't, who's
Phillip Rivers, end of the career.
I mean, he could do it for one game. There's no doubt.
But can he sustain it? So I don't know. But I'm going Bills as well. So that's a clear sweep across the board. All three of us going with the Bills. This to me is an intriguing matchup. You know, the Rams, Seahawks, same division, third time meeting. They've split it so far, and the Rams, who knows what's going on with quarterbacks? Jared Goff had a surgery on his thumb, so who knows how that's going to go? But you got the Rams, Seahawks.
Rams, Seahawks. I think. I think both coaches are excellent coaches. One's more offensive minded. One's more defensive minded. I think the Seahawks have potential to look better in a big game than the Rams. Who did Troy pick?
Troy, you picked the Seahawks.
Oh, so we're the same. Okay, what do you think?
Same across the board. I'm going Seahawks. I love Pete Carroll. I think it's playoff time. Russell Wilson comes to play, especially, you know, the Rams. Look, I understand they got the best defensive lineman in the game, but when your quarterback's kind of up in the air like that, especially, you know, thumb is an interesting injury, you know, just from taking snaps, catching snaps, and all it's going to take is one shot on that thing to change things. And I know, you know, it doesn't really matter this year because there's no real fans, but you got to go to Seattle. You know, I think that changes some things. So I'm going Seahawks. So that's a clear sweep across the board for us again. All of us taking the Seahawks. Now, Troy's crazy pick of Washington over the Bucks. Which way are you going here? You going Tampa Bay or you going Washington?
I'm definitely going Tampa Bay. I don't like anything about Washington.
It is ugly.
What did I say?
You went with the upset pick. You picked Washington.
Washington.
So listen, I'm gonna tell you like this: if you get the other two and you get Washington, you're on your way. You're probably winning. If you lose Washington, you're gonna. I don't know. I can't remember his other pick. So I would say, I mean, I first of all, I think Tom Brady's got like the best receiving core there is. Obviously, he still got it. A great coaching staff, Tampa Bay. I think Washington is a major work in progress and played in the worst division, period. And probably wouldn't have gotten in there if the Philadelphia Eagles had left in Jalen Hurts. So he already ran for 2 touchdowns. He wasn't throwing great in that game, but he was running well. So I think they're going to get I don't see it happening.
I'm going with you too. I think the Bucks, even if, you know, Mike Evans doesn't play because he's banged up again, you still got Antonio Brown. You still got, you know, Fournette in the backfield, you know, Tom Brady and Antonio Brown. I thought this was a great stat the other day. Tom Brady gave him 3 shuffle passes that count as completions, catches, so that he could hit his bonus of a couple extra $1 million. He threw him 3 of them in a row. I thought that was awesome. I think there's a chemistry that a lot of people don't see. Plus, we're talking Gronk and Brady back in the playoffs. It may be a totally different culture, totally different place, but those 2 guys come playoff time, you know, I'll roll my dice with the Bucks. So look, that's Saturday. Those are Saturday's wildcard games. Now we move to Sunday. We got the Ravens and the Titans.
The Ravens and the Titans.
This is the closest to a throwback game you can possibly get. I don't think these teams like each other very much. That's for sure. I think you're talking physicality. You know, you got a 2,000-yard rusher in Henry.
I think in this game, the fact that if it hits the fan, the Titans could turn around and hand it off to Henry as an advantage. I think that they try to take away Lamar, much like I can't remember who they played in the playoffs last year, but the team they played there was set out basically to take away Lamar. They struggled to do it, but they did enough to beat them. I think the Titans is going to apply the same. Don't break that. The Titans are going to apply the same philosophy to it. So I'll go Titans. What did he choose? Titans? I think he chose Titans.
What did I choose?
Yes. Troy took the Titans, and I'm going to be the Lone Ranger here and go out with the Ravens. I think Lamar Jackson has something to prove in kind of a pseudo down year after his last year's stuff. I think he comes back. I think the Ravens kind of went on that lull in the middle of the season, and I think, a lot of people talking down about them and talked about them not being as physical as past Ravens teams. I think they're a little pissed. I think they're out to prove something. I think they get I think they shut Derrick Henry out and hold him to under 100 yards rushing.
We just had an earthquake. No, I'm kidding.
Technical difficulties.
Okay, so
I'm going Ravens.
You're going Ravens. Okay. How about then one more? There's one more game, right?
Two more. You got Bears Saints. Troy took the Bears.
Ooh.
What?
Well, I'll tell you this: you get the Bears. Trubisky.
He has done well.
I know.
The Bears just scare me. They do have a great defense, but you're also going against Drew Brees in what could be his last season. I mean, I'm giving away my pick. I don't see anybody. I'm taking Drew Brees in the playoffs. I said it yesterday. I'm going Saints.
What did I choose?
You chose Bears. The Bears. I am going to go with the Saints. I just think that they're a better team.
Sean Payton, I think, is excellent.
I know there's going to be an upset somewhere, and that if there was a place that there could be a big upset, I would say that would be the spot. But I don't. Please don't break that. Okay.
Last one. Then you got the Browns and the Steelers.
The Browns and the Steelers.
I'm going Browns.
What did I say?
Troy took the Browns as well, and I think I'm going to stay on that bandwagon with you, even with all this COVID craziness going on. The Steelers are not somebody that has impressed me. I have never been a fan, nor will I ever be in Ben Roethlisberger's corner as far as fighting to be named one of the best quarterbacks. I just don't think he's that. I think he's very careless with the ball. I think he's done getting hit. As far as that's concerned, to be an NFL quarterback, I don't. Now, look, am I a huge Minka Fitzpatrick fan? Yes, I think he can do some things, but he can't do it all by himself. So I'm going Browns, man.
So it's
I
funny.
want the Browns. I want that story to continue, and I like Baker Mayfield.
The Steelers head coach is one of my favorite head coaches. So I know I'll have him ready.
Mr. Coach Dawson.
I know I'll have him ready. What I like about the Browns and why I'm going with the Browns, I think they have so many weapons, and I think the Steelers, as much as I love Tomlin, I think the Steelers spend more time on social media as a football team than they do on when the Patriots were undefeated.
They don't say anything.
They don't say nothing. Like, just keep going about your wins. Win the championship. Like, isn't that all right? You're done, Troy. Come on. I'm going. It's time for me to finish the podcast. Thank you, Troy. Great job.
Good job, Troy.
All right, great work, Troy. Well, get your. Okay, so what? It was getting into a little bit of restless mode there. So what I was gonna say. So what I was gonna say was, when you potentially have the best team, and I'm not talking about when you potentially have the best team, I don't understand, which they had at one point, right?
And then they just got horrible.
And I think part of it is over time when you have these like nonsense things going on. I'm going to quote what the player said about Nick Saban. Like, they keeps everybody focused on their task. And what they're supposed to be doing, which ultimately gets you to your bigger picture. Doesn't mean you're going to win the championship every single time, but it gets you to the table over time, over long periods of time. And I feel like
I know that Tomlin has that instilled there, but there's only the pros, they're adults, so they're going to do what they've got to do, and I think they spend so much time on that stuff. Like, I can honestly tell you that I've seen more social media dances from the Steelers than they have
Good
from
old Juju.
any other team. And not that it like quote unquote affects how you play, but that means you also are reading.
Mentality. You don't see these Alabama guys dancing around doing all this stuff.
You're reading. That means you're also reading the comments, right? That means you have negative. That means there's negative comments all over the place. What is it?
And we've talked about it a lot. You're looking for approval. You're trying to get likes or whatever from 2,000 people that you don't know anything about, or they know nothing about you.
Well,
like,
you're already famous. You're already famous. Okay.
Stop pushing the envelope. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I have no problem with anybody getting famous. I have no problem with anybody making as much money as they want to make. I'm all for that. I have no problem doing whatever you want to do. If you are a team environment and you're a situation where multiple guys, then, there's some level of drawing attention to yourself. Now you're reading people's comments. Now you're reading this guy's comment who says this nasty thing about you, and you're thinking, oh man, am I acting like an idiot? Am I not? Like, those things go in your head as someone when you have a specific focus along the lines of winning football games. I can't, when you get into that, if you are seeking likes, you're going to read the comments. That's the only way. I mean, why else would you seek likes then? You know what I mean?
Why would you do it if you're not looking for something?
Right. I mean, we're seeking to grow our podcast to the biggest we possibly can. So we got to put out more content. If you're a pro player,
you already have it.
You have the content, man. It's on the field for you. Take those clips. Teach people how to run routes better. Like, yeah, okay. You
do
can throw
something constructive with it.
You can have fun, throw a TikTok dance in there, but like when you take it to the level of you go on people's logos and do it. Okay, I'm not saying don't have fun. Obviously, you want to have fun. That's part, but it's a job. All right, it's a job that you are getting paid a lot of money to be really successful at. Why not focus all your efforts at that? You know what? And in the off season,
hey, man, do whatever you want.
Go do 9,000 TikToks. I mean, TikTok.
Go do Dancing with the Stars. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, do whatever you want. Nobody cares.
But this is your season. And you're doing all this crazy stuff, man, during a time right now where you got to be hyper-focused on this stuff.
Now, if they win it all, then I am an idiot. And I don't know what I'm talking about.
Listen, it's the same thing I always say. Like, look, unless you're good, you can't talk trash, right? You know,
I think you got to get there first. I think you got to win it with that team. Like Tomlin has a championship. Roethlisberger has a championship. None of those other guys do, and
Minka Fitzpatrick, does he have a national championship? He probably has a New Jersey State championship. I'm just saying. I know. I'm just saying.
I'm sure a lot of these guys got championships.
Oh, yeah. I would love to see a correlation. And I would love somebody go do this. How many?
There's definitely a correlation between high school to college.
100%. How many? I want to see though. Like go to I don't know. Whoever gets to the Super Bowl week, because you got 2 weeks, right? Look at the roster. See how many of those guys on each roster won a high school state championship.
I would say there's a lot. Here's my thought process.
And I bet you it's more than just football.
High school to college, on most college teams, you're going to have either A, highly accomplished individual athletes, but also probably a lot of B, guys that had played on very good teams, if not won championships. Now, college to pro, I don't think you have as many guys that have won championships at all. I don't think it has anything to do with winning a championship in the pros, unless I think it helps if you won a championship in college and you make it to the pros to bring the right mentality. Yes, I think that helps. But I think, there's so few people that win those championships that I don't think it has a larger effect as it does. I would bet everything I own that of all the players in the NFL, let's say whatever there is, 15,000 of them, okay, that play in the NFL. Let they say 15,000? I mean 15. Wait, am I right? 1,500. Yeah, 1,500 of the players that play in the NFL. Of those 1,500, I would bet there's at least a majority that have won a championship, some level of championship, in college or high school. Now, how many have won college that are in pros? I would say it's very, very few. So, and how many have won an NFL championship? Even fewer, right? So, I feel like that's the first. If you could do that, then you win your championship. I mean, again, I just think if you could stay focused on it, it's almost like you're not expecting to win a championship, and it's a surprise that you're as good as you are. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't think it makes any sense. It's almost like you're acting as if you're surprised a little bit, which I don't think they're intentionally doing. I'm just saying that's what it comes across as if you're surprised that you're so good. So let me celebrate every moment that we are good because I don't know when it's going to end. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, it was expected to be good.
Meanwhile, right, if you expect it to be good, then I feel like you would approach it a little bit differently. Like
I knew in high school, going into a game, I was finishing with a touchdown and a pick every single game. So that when I got in the end zone and I scored a touchdown, I handed the ball to the ref because not that I wasn't excited, but I had been there before and this is what was expected, Now college, that got ramped up a little bit. If I made a big play, things were, I was getting extra emotional about it because the opportunity to make those plays didn't happen as much on that level,
Right.
Your window sinks. Plus, you're playing one side of the ball. You realize, I guess you just realize how much more certain plays, matter. And it's the same thing. I take Dex as a great example. Played at the highest level. You see him celebrate plays that to us are expected to be made. You know what I mean? And, I see him and, you understand, you see the game from such a different view when you look at it from somebody who's been at the highest level in terms of, if it's 3rd and 12 and a guy catches a pass for 5 yards, you rally, make the tackle, and now it's 4th down. He's celebrating like he just picked it off for our guys. And you see it because at that highest level, now, you made that play. Now you're giving an opportunity. You did your job, right? You did your job. It's not about doing more or anything extra. It's about doing what you're supposed to do and giving your team the ability or the chance for those guys to go do their jobs.
Right.
I think that's an extremely different perspective and something that I had to learn because, as a Group 1 football player, small college football player, you're expected to do more than, you're always constantly thinking I can do more, I can do more. When really it's not always about you doing more. It's about you just doing what you're supposed to. I think that's a really cool outlook that he has definitely given me a different perspective on certain things, which is, always a bonus. But here I got a good transition to you for this now. Max Preps put this out, and it was Heisman winners since the year 2000. Okay, and the states that they came from. Not necessarily where they played college ball, but where they were born. Okay, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 10 states. So you got 20 Heisman Trophy winners, 10 states. Give me those states.
10 states?
10 states.
All right, I'm gonna give you the ones that are definite. California.
You should get the first ones,
California, Florida,
California, yep.
Florida, Texas.
Florida, Texas. All with multiple winners.
Yep. Georgia.
Georgia is another one.
This is since 2000.
Since 2000. Don't cheat.
Well, New Jersey, I know.
No.
No, I thought Mark Ingram counted as New Jersey.
Heisman Trophy winners since the year 2000.
Didn't Mark Ingram win it in like 2007 or something?
Mark Ingram?
Yeah.
He's not from New Jersey.
He was born in New Jersey.
But not according to this, I guess.
So their home, where their home is from. Okay. So let me backtrack. So I got Georgia. I'm going to go.
Georgia, Florida, Texas, California, yes.
All right. Alabama.
6 more.
Alabama.
Has one winner from.
Yeah, I figured they had somebody.
There's 2 on here I don't think you'll ever get.
I'm just trying to think of some of the Heisman Trophy winners. Let's say Tennessee.
Negative.
All right. South Carolina.
No.
Illinois.
Nope.
Michigan.
1 winner.
Ohio.
2 winners. You got 3 left. 1 I think you should throw in there. 2. These other 2? I wouldn't think so.
Virginia.
No.
Pennsylvania.
Negative.
Wow. I feel like I'm Mississippi.
No.
No. Louisiana.
Nope.
I've done most of the South.
Literally middle of the country.
Missouri.
Nope. Close though. Literally middle of the country. Just work your way top to bottom.
Oklahoma, Kansas.
Oklahoma.
Oh yeah,
2
Oklahoma.
guys.
Yeah, sorry. They have 2 guys. Oklahoma, yeah.
Keep going.
What do we got? 3. I got 3.
You got 2 left.
Minnesota.
Has 1.
Who was the one from Minnesota?
You gotta. We'll get to that, but you got 1 state left. Mid-90s powerhouse state.
Oh, Nebraska.
1 guy.
The guy from Nebraska won it?
So, states that have had Nebraska, Minnesota, Michigan, Alabama, Georgia, all have had 1 winner. Which state of those? You got Cali, Texas, Florida. Who has the most?
It's either Florida or Cali. Texas has the most? They have 4. Wow. Okay.
Cali and Florida with 3 each.
Who won for Texas? Oklahoma guys, I guess. Guys from Oklahoma.
Well, if you look at it like that, you got Texas has 4 guys.
Adrian Peterson is from – oh, no, he didn't win it.
No, remember he broke his collarbone.
He didn't win it. Jason White must be from Texas then.
Well, I mean, you can go. I mean, you can go like obviously. I'm just saying, you got Texas, you got 4 guys, California and Florida 3.
Who won it from Minnesota?
I don't know. You got to look. You're gonna have to. I did
you just looked up the states. They didn't tell you who.
Yeah, no. I didn't even. Maybe they did. I saw it. I thought it was a cool. Anytime you see Max Preps and they always have a freaking, the states up there. I thought it was cool. It says where every Heisman Trophy winner since 2000 played high school football. Oh, I was wrong. I missed one. I should have known this. We missed 1 state.
We missed a state.
I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
Oregon.
Oregon.
No.
Uh,
Who played their football at Oregon? That would be from
Hawaii. Mariota, Hawaii.
Yeah.
Mariota. Oh, wow.
Midwest, obviously the Southeast dominates. The South dominates as always. But the that whole central middle of the country stuff, man, that's crazy.
That is pretty crazy. Well, I would have expected Ohio. I would have expected Michigan.
And then obviously you have, well, counting last night's, Devonta's from Louisiana. So you literally have every country right up, or every state right up the middle of the country, except for Kansas.
Kansas. I can name someone that won the Heisman Trophy from Kansas.
Gale Sayers?
Correct. And can you name the guy that used to call? Hold on. I just want to make sure I'm right in his nickname. Sometimes I'm wrong on this.
You'll love the guy from Minnesota.
Oh, okay. They used to call Gale Sayers' nickname was the Kansas Comet. Can you name?
Can you tell me who won it from Minnesota?
Actually, did Gale Sayers win the Heisman Trophy? I'm trying to look here. Did he win? I don't think he won the Heisman Trophy. I'm wrong. I guess they just assumed he won the Heisman Trophy, but he didn't. Gale Sayers did not win the Heisman Trophy. How about that? I was wrong. Isn't that amazing? I guess it happens to the best of them. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I said, can you name the Minnesota guy?
The Minnesota guy.
Quarterback. That doesn't narrow it down that much, but.
Where'd he play?
If I give you Florida State.
Oh, Wanky. Oh, no, Wanky's the 90s.
No, he counts. He's 2000.
Oh, so Wanky?
Mm-hmm.
Wanky's from Minnesota, huh?
And can you name the two Ohio guys? Both quarterbacks.
Troy Smith.
That's one.
The second Ohio guy.
Recent.
Ohio guy.
You're overthinking it. You're probably not thinking he's an Ohio guy because he didn't play at Ohio.
Right.
He actually left.
Oh, Joe Burrow.
Yes.
Joe Burrow. Yeah, you're right. I was overthinking that one. Sorry, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow and Troy Smith. Troy Smith went to Ohio State. Was from Ohio.
He was. We're breaking stuff over there or what?
Yeah, Troy, what's going on over here? Take the volume down a little bit. I got to get closer to the microphone because Troy is going with the high volume noise. So
Being a kid.
Yeah, that's why I'm not telling him not to. I wish I was a kid. The world, you had no idea what was going on. You just wanted to, as Troy would say, I just want to play.
Yeah.
Right, Troy? You just want to play. That's it. You remember, like, I don't know if you did this, but like you go outside, you play for hours on then be like, you got to eat, you got to come in, it'd be dark out, just be playing it. I used to throw the ball to myself if I didn't have somebody to play with. I'd be outside, like, making believe I was like
XYZ player tiptoeing down the sideline.
I used to punt the ball straight up in the air and catch it.
Yes. Or kick it a little bit down and run it down, or throw it high and as far as you can and chase it down.
It's probably why I rarely dropped a punt.
I was, as a punt returner, punt returner, kick returner, because I was so used to doing it.
And I just loved it.
Yeah. I wish I got more punts punted to me.
See, we used to go dual punt returners, so there was always – and I always called the other guy off.
I was back by myself.
For 2 years, he knew, oh, damn it, I got a block. And the biggest compliment ever was when in college we went punt safe. I got to roll back.
Oh, it's because you were sure-handed.
Because they're like, screw it, he's just going to catch it. And I was like, dude, I ain't fair catching this thing.
Yeah, I'm running.
I get an opportunity? No way.
That's right.
I would have got in trouble for that one. But, oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I do have a question.
Okay.
How do you feel? I don't know if you've seen any of this. Have you heard the stories? Dr. Dre.
He had a brain aneurysm, you mean?
Yeah, man. So he's gonna be all right, but we almost lost the freaking Mount Rushmore of rap.
Yeah.
This could be our TMZ segment.
Well, what's one of my favorite. TMZ. We got a whole lot to cover on TMZ. It's right on the news, right in front of me right now.
But hey, I have another question. You got Kanye West and Kim Kardashian.
I know. Wow, I saw that.
Who's paying more alimony?
Well, who makes more money?
That's what I'm saying. Who's paying who?
Who's paying who? She might be paying him.
Right?
It'd be like me. They're not getting rid of me.
I don't know how much the Yeezys bring in.
No, I'm kidding. What was I gonna say?
That was a legit.
I bet you that's a legit question because I bet you.
I was really thinking about that. Like, dude, who makes more money?
Only they know.
And God only knows how much they really make.
Well, Kim wants to become a lawyer, according to TMZ. To go back to law school.
He wants to follow in Daddy's footsteps. That poor guy has to like.
She did do some great things.
Yes,
with the prisoners.
Yeah. But listen, just because you can use your whatever savviness,
in the courtroom, that's not going to work as well.
I mean, I don't think
it could work against you.
Is her mind in the right place? Is her heart in the right place? I'm sure it is, but
she's bored. I mean, come on.
I feel like that. Listen,
come on.
Her father must just roll over in his grave how many times a day? Like, these are my daughters, bro. Like, this is what.
I don't think they're like. I mean, I don't know. The truth is, I don't know anything about that life. So, my closest brush was it when I was in Cancun and Jessica Simpson took a long stare at me, and I was like,
"Was that before or after she looked like one of us?"
I guess apparently she lost a lot of weight, but she
remember she was one of those original reality TV shows too, with her and Nick Lachey.
A true story. She walked literally 2 feet from me. Like I happened to I was in a conversation with a couple of ladies from the other agenda, and thank you, Troy, for that. Oh, Troy gave me the
kisses.
So one of my friends tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, turn around." I turned around. She was kind of almost past me, but I could have reached out and touched her. That's how close she was. Turned around. Her eyes met my eyes, and I gave a little hello, and then she kept moving. She said hello and moved on.
I also
like, this guy is who? See you later.
She said that guy's damn handsome. That's what she was saying. That's what she was saying. That guy's damn handsome. And then darn handsome. Sorry, Troy. And then no, listen, I'm telling some celebrity. We're your TMZ right now. I'm telling some celebrity stories. Where's the peanut gallery over here? I didn't know we had an audience in a peanut gallery.
See, it's different when the 200 people are just watching, not when you have somebody live audience in the room.
Yeah, they're cheering, but in this case, they're not cheering; they're jeering.
Oh,
it's jeered.
There's haterade being drank.
There's haterade being thrown around over here. We were having a TMZ discussion here. Hey, Nicole, who's writing the alimony checks? Is it Kardashian or Kanye? Well, who makes more money?
Who makes more money?
That's what our debate was.
They're both equivalent.
Hey,
Maybe it's Iron Man.
You have to go that way with Iron Man in order to be seen.
No.
All right, get out of here. Troy. So hold on, I was trying to hear what Mommy said there. So you said they're equal?
They are.
You really think so?
You really think that they're equal financially?
She's worth $900 million and he's worth $1 billion.
Oh, he's worth more, a little bit more. She said he's worth $1 billion.
Yeah, because he's such a lunatic. Like he's just mentally, people are attracted to his just weirdness.
He has
I guess because of with music, when you get your residuals and all that stuff, that keeps just coming no matter what.
Well, you know what? I saw an interesting thing about that yesterday. I was just,
you got Matthew McConaughey still making money off of Dazed and Confused.
I was just reading an interesting article, really interesting article. I don't know how I came across it, but the article was about see you later, Troy. The article was about what's her name? The Iggy Azalea, and she had that one hit song, and
right.
They said to her,
how much she continues to make off of it.
She basically said that was basically the article was basically people are like, oh, you're a has-been, whatever. She's
one hit wonder. She's like
every time you download it, my music on my thing on Spotify, on YouTube, that goes right in my check. I guess she owns the rights to her songs or whatever, right?
So she's crushing it.
She's like, and how some of those things get 1 billion views
easily.
So as those views, they just keep coming. People will be like, oh, I heard that song on the radio. Let me go watch the video on you. I do it. You know what I mean? Of course, I'm watching 70s hits and but
listen, even they also set up they set up those deals that way.
Even those songs, if I go and listen to some old country or old rap or something,
right?
When I play it, I'm so shocked at how many views. Songs that I didn't think were mega popular, I still have 100 million views.
Right.
And that goes to obviously that either goes to the record company, and a little bit goes to the artist, or if the artist has his rights, then it owns it. Then that majority of that's going to him, and he's just making. Or her, and they're just making that money. So when I read that article, I thought that was really, really interesting. It got me thinking.
You think about movies you think about movies, look at Matthew McConaughey. He's probably still making, I use him as an example because I can think of someone that's been successful across a good amount of years now, high grossing movies. I mean, what is it like for all of that stuff that happens, I'm sure music is different than movies, but at the same time, it's
I think, there's similar. There's.
I know he talked about it in an interview, and I think
publishing rights.
He had a name for it. I think he called it Monday money or something because he knows every Monday he's getting a check for this stuff. What I mean?
Is that in his book? Is that in his book? I started reading his book.
Yeah, I just that's one of the ones too. That's on lock for 2021 to read his book, because I just think he's awesome. But yeah, I think he was talking about it in like an interview, like, you know, he did a movie with like Kate Hudson, 10 Things I Hate, or How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Like, he's like, dude, I had so much fun, and I still collect the money from it. It's like, that's the kind of stuff they set themselves up for. So you don't even like Kanye with his music, who knows? Whereas Kim, I feel like, needs to maybe constantly come out with something new to make. I don't know. All she has to do is,
her show.
Hey, you want to come? Yeah. Or hey, you want to come make an appearance? Like,
no, but I'm saying that show.
Oh God,
it's going to be in syndication, right? So they're ending it, right? I think they're ending. So when it goes into syndication, much like Seinfeld, some network or Netflix or whatever they're going to pay to syndicate it. And let's say the deal, you know, you do a few of those deals. I mean, look, that's what made Jerry Seinfeld and what's the guy, Curb Your Enthusiasm guy?
Larry David?
Yeah, Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld basically almost
made them their money.
Like, made them billionaires. They sold it to syndication. When they sold it to syndication, I think the deal was like, I want to say, if it wasn't $1 billion, it was close to it, maybe half $1 billion. And those guys are just like,
sure,
from the basically the greatest comedy show, greatest comedy television show, in my opinion. Sitcom of all time. I mean, like, this is a good one. We haven't done something like this. Your 5 favorite sitcoms, comedies. Go.
I wasn't like, I'd have to like see a list.
All right.
Because like, I've never seen Seinfeld.
All right, that's what I'll pull it up for you.
I've never seen Seinfeld.
I'll get you I'll give you a framework.
I am currently binge watching Friends.
Is this your first time?
Yes.
Oh,
the character Joey, he's funny as hell. I'm serious.
So I'll give you context. I don't know.
It was one of those things like, hey, you've never seen Friends? Like, that's weird. You know, I'm like, well, I've seen everything else.
Right, because you were young at that time. So
yeah, I was like doing too much stuff to sit down.
I was in college. I was in college in my early 20s. So you obviously were definitely like a below.
Well, listen, I'm on like season 5, and it still creeps me out that at least once an episode, the Twin Towers pop up.
That's crazy. So let's so here's a cool thing. Did you know? And you may have known this, so I don't know if I'm doing something you did that you already know. Do you know when Friends used to appear on regular television on NBC?
I don't even know what channel it was on.
Okay, it was on NBC.
So what's that? What is it? NBC?
NBC.
So channel 4.
Channel 4. It used to be on NBC. Do you know what show it appeared after? Okay.
Doogie Howser?
I'm talking to you like I'm laughing at you like my father used to laugh at me now. It appeared after Seinfeld.
So that was more popular than Seinfeld?
Seinfeld was the most popular show. Friends was after it. Friends was the
number 2.
Towards the end of Seinfeld, and would have to look it up. I could be wrong, but it's kind of in my mind, but I'm not 100% on this. I think Seinfeld, at the end of its run, Friends was starting to become more popular than Seinfeld. I'm not, but they were 1 and 2, and but yeah, that was, and I'll take you back another in history on another great one. There were 3 shows back to back that used to be, I think it was NBC also. At 8:00, you used to have The Cosby Show, okay, which was the most popular show.
Jail.
And it's sad that that's how it's thought, but his show was great. 8:30 was Family Ties. Have you ever seen Family Ties?
Oh, if you can, you probably might not enjoy the Cosby Show because it's more like I was a kid and I liked it as a kid, so it's really more kiddish with your parent kind of thing, like family humor. But Family Ties was family humor, but half hour later, so it was a little more grown up. You know what I mean? Like, if you appreciate teenage humor, you'd appreciate that, which you would like it. So, because I always enjoyed like a lot of the teenager shows, like Beverly Hills and anyway.
Yeah, 90210, bro.
Now too, and I was great in that Melrose Place, and then there's a few of those shows.
Baywatch.
So that was 8:30, and then 9 o'clock.
You had Seinfeld and Friends.
No, 9 o'clock. No. So that's years later. 9 o'clock was Cheers. You ever heard of Cheers?
Love Cheers.
You watched Cheers.
Huge Ted Danson fan.
Cheers was great. So Cheers was really for you put your kids to bed, right? And then you watch. That was adult humor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how they used to have it back. Well,
Before her was what was her name?
No, my favorite Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson was on it. Yeah, Woody Harrelson was on it.
He was the tell of that show.
He was great. So anyway, Seinfeld was on before Friends. Friends was a good show, but I was a Seinfeld person. People were either more Seinfeld people or more Friends people. Like one of my best friends from high school, he was a Friends person all the way. It was like he'd be like, "How could you like Seinfeld better?" I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I just thought it was funnier.
It's different.
Yeah. So, all right, I'll give you a few shows. I guess I'm gonna have to put in some shows from now, but I don't.
Just go through a list. I'll just tell you if I've ever seen it or not.
All right, tell me if you. All right. Okay.
Can't really put a list together unless.
All right, I'll give you. All right, you've seen some of these. All right, 30 Rock.
No.
Great show. You got to watch that series. I didn't really watch it when it was first on. I got the DVDs and watched it, and then I caught up.
I'm telling you, I was never really a TV show because I was always just doing stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there were certain shows I liked. I didn't watch a lot, but enough. Okay, I'll go through 30 Rock. I'm giving you ones that I think are probably like the best ones. The Office.
Never seen it.
Oh my God, you're missing out on life. Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Never seen it.
Big Bang Theory.
Never.
Married with Children.
Just didn't find it funny whatsoever.
You did not find that funny whatsoever?
No.
I know you scored 4 touchdowns in a game. All right. Roseanne?
Didn't really find it funny.
I didn't think Roseanne was that funny. Everybody Loves Raymond?
Not really.
2.5 Men.
I've seen some of those.
You'd like it, the original.
I think if I watched them, I would, because I think Charlie Sheen. But I've seen like the humor. Like I've seen an episode and like there was some funny stuff. So I think like I would probably like it.
Frasier.
No.
That used to be on after. Or no, it might have been before. I can't remember if it was after Friends, when Friends took over. How I Met Your Mother?
Nope.
Jeez. I'm trying to, let me get, Seinfeld I already mentioned. Trying to think of shows that you might, Full House. Did you watch that at all?
Yeah, but mainly just because it was on like just
Fresh Prince.
Yeah, I did. I did watch that remake thing that they just did, the reunion. That was pretty cool.
I didn't see that. I would have liked to see it. That 70s show?
Nope.
Yeah, I didn't watch too much. Will and Grace, there's no way you watched that.
No.
South Park. That's kind of a
maybe in the early years, but I don't know. It's gone for so long now.
Beavis and Butthead.
Never really watched it.
Yeah, I'm trying to get you through here. I'll give you a great 80s one you definitely haven't watched, but you'd find I don't know if maybe you wouldn't because it's so long ago. Three's Company was good.
Alf.
You watched Alf?
Every episode.
Oh my God. You are a nut. How I Met Your Mother?
Nope. You already said that.
I did? That's pretty funny. The Golden Girls, Night Court.
No, but Jen loves the Golden Girls.
Okay.
Like, I'll go home and that will be on.
Different Strokes. The Jeffersons, Happy Days.
Happy Days, because I watched a lot of those shows as a kid because they were Nick at Night.
Yes, they were Nick and Nighters, right? WKRP in Cincinnati.
I like the show Taxi.
Taxi was great.
I'm telling you, if you go through like the Nick at Night shows,
yeah, okay.
Like Dick Van Dyke Show.
You watch the Dick Van Dyke Show?
Dick Van Dyke Show.
I don't remember too well.
Bewitched, I Dream of Jeannie, The Munsters.
Okay, yeah, I watched all those.
Taxi, like that whole list of Nick at Night.
Taxi was funny.
Taxi was funny as hell.
Taxi was great.
Like, and you had to that was like adult but borderline, I don't know. It was just interesting.
I'm trying to say anything modern. Like there isn't that many modern Parks and Recreation's not that good.
Nope. Like I'm not like a Family Guy person.
Yeah, I'm not either. I know people like Home Improvement. You ever watch Home Improvement?
Nothing that would like I'm not a big like The Simpsons. People worship that now.
Did you watch Eastbound and Down? That was on HBO.
No.
I think
now if you start getting into like that type of stuff, now you're talking like Sopranos.
Yeah, well, Eastbound and Down is really a comedy. Sopranos is serious.
Yeah, like if you talk about, I was definitely not into
comedies.
Sanford
and Son. You ever see Sanford and Son or The Odd Couple? Bob Newhart Show.
Bob Newhart Show a little bit. Mary Tyler Moore Show a little bit.
Because that was probably on Nick at Night.
Mork and Mindy.
Mork and Mindy was probably.
Welcome Back, Kotter.
Right, you said Bewitched. Welcome Back, Kotter. Welcome Back, Kotter. You watched Welcome Back, Kotter?
That was a Nick at Night show. I Love Lucy is probably my favorite.
All right, so Welcome Back, Kotter. Right? What was John Travolta's name in Welcome Back, Kotter?
Wasn't it?
It was Barbarino.
Could you imagine if you taught like that today?
Well, here's why. You know what I like about that, like a show, especially you're a teacher, right? So you enjoy it a little bit more. Those kids loved him, right?
Right.
Like there were a lot of things that went on. You definitely couldn't do this, but they had like a connection because he really was invested.
Yeah,
he was invested in them.
He cared.
What were they? What was their nickname? What did they call the?
Listen. It's been so long.
What do they call the? What do they call them? They were called. What were they called? What was?
It's just funny because that show literally touches on so many different, just elements of life.
It does. It does. And you know what? In the city and what are they? Oh, the Sweat Hogs.
The life lessons in that show are
great. The 70s were big with that because it was
they were platforms.
They were
a lot of things were changing. Post Vietnam.
His class was every race and nationality, right? It was like ethnically and racially diverse. It was really, I thought it was a great show. Yeah. It was I think it was New York City. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
It was New York City. It's supposed to be New York City. The Sweat Hogs.
But that was the stuff that's what I was.
He was great in that show. The teacher. John Travolta was like John Travolta and what was the other guy? Mr. Carter. He was like his right hand man. Like they were like two peas in a pod. John Travolta. What was that guy's name in real life? I don't know. I didn't see him too much after. It was Vinny Barbarino. Maybe it must be Michael Woodman played John Sylvester White. That must have been the. And then Horshack. Remember him?
It just had a whole bunch of characters that were from
Oh, okay. So wait, Fred. Let me see. Hold on. Freddie Washington was Barbarino's right hand man. He was like, I think he was like, yeah. That's who his buddy was. They were, and you're right. You couldn't because Epstein. Remember Epstein?
Yeah, like think about it. Like no way.
Epstein was Jewish and Latino.
Yeah.
Right. I think he was Puerto Rican and Jewish. I'm pretty
Yep.
sure. Right. Like the things that would like kind of were said that you couldn't do that anymore.
No.
But it was like endearing though. I don't know. Like people today don't understand that.
Nope.
It wasn't like, yeah, they probably used stereotypes and stuff, but like they had a way. They all got along and they all cared about each other. I don't know.
That's all that mattered.
I don't think today you could.
There's too many outside factors that would, like because they were so just about the class, just about each other. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
The outside noise didn't ring as loud. Now it would ring so loud that they would all change about and go crazy.
Right. They look at each other and yeah. So and Taxi was great. Tony Danza,
Danny DeVito,
Andy Kaufman, who's no longer
was that
alive.
Christopher Lloyd?
What's that?
Christopher Lloyd.
Yes, he was crazy. That's definitely one of the best ones. You watch Cheers. You definitely it's that dead bit. I'm trying to think. You definitely if you like Friends, you get through Friends. You probably will like Seinfeld if you get through that.
I think I would. A lot of people say I would.
You would like it. I'm trying to think of now. The Office, I think you would enjoy. I think people who work in an office find it even more enjoyable because,
of course, when you're in that setting,
stuff happens.
Now, I will tell you, if I do have one like underlying whatever, is I've probably seen every medical drama TV show that you could think
like
of.
Grey's Anatomy,
like Grey's Anatomy, ER, House, Private.
House I used to watch.
Private Practice. Night Shift. I mean, literally, I don't know.
Yeah, see, only one I've really watched is House.
House was awesome.
Yeah, House was really good. I never really watched any of those other ones.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's because I always think I should have been a doctor. I don't know.
I think you'd like 30 Rock a ton. You know what? I think
what's great about this new, all these new streaming apps and stuff like that is a lot of this stuff is on there, so I can go and watch it, and I don't have to wait for another episode.
Right? Like I wish there was a comedy series that I haven't seen that I'm interested in. Like I've seen.
Like I will tell you, like The Ranch on Netflix, loved it.
The Ranch. What is that?
Ashton Kutcher.
What was it? A series?
Ashton Kutcher and the guy, the dad is what's his name from? Oh God, from what's the movie? Roadhouse.
Oh, really? Sam Elliott?
Yes, he's the dad, and it's dry humor but hilarious.
Oh,
it's basically he was in that '70s show, right? Ashton Kutcher.
Yes.
So the other dude that was in there with him with the curly hair.
Wilmer Valderrama.
I don't know if that's not the whatever. I don't know. Somebody else that was in him is his brother in The Ranch. And here's the whole premise is that Ashton Kutcher is a high school All-American quarterback who's from Colorado, and his dad lives on a ranch. And the whole show starts with his career is finally over at 30-something years old. He's done trying to play in the NFL.
Yeah,
it's Wilmer Valderrama. He was
he's bounced around from all these semi-pro leagues and this and that, trying to make it big, and he just keeps screwing up. And he basically just drinks his head off. And now he's got to go home and live with his dad, who's like this cold, old school. But I thought it was hilarious. I've watched it twice.
Interesting.
But it's Netflix, so you can continue to watch it, and it's over. It's done with. I think there's like 7 or 8 seasons. But I don't know if it has something to do with my uncle lives on a farm, so I can relate certain things. So it's kind of funny that way. I don't know. I think he's funny in general, but it's like, like
by the way, if you like Vermont, you know what you'd like? That's on Vermont. Is let me see here. Let me just pull it up. The Bob Newhart show.
Yeah.
Which is about. Have you watched that?
Yeah, I've watched that.
That's Vermont, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Bob Newhart's funny as hell.
He is funny. He died. He's the guy. He's the father in Elf.
Yes.
The Elf father. Bob Newhart. Oh no, maybe Bob Newhart's still alive. Actually, I think I might be wrong on that one. Because I think I looked this up when we were watching Elf this year. I'm pretty sure I looked it up. But yeah, no, Bob Newhart is still alive. You won't believe how old he is. He's 91. That's amazing. But Bob Newhart was so funny as the guy. Like he ran that what was it, like a bed and breakfast? What was it? What was it that they owned?
It's been so long.
So the Bob Newhart show is Newhart, not the Bob Newhart show. Newhart. He's like, I think what's so hilarious is when every single time those guys come in, and he goes, "This is I'm Daryl. This is my brother Daryl. This is my or I'm whatever." The two Daryls. Remember the two brothers that are Daryl? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that was a good show. That was a good show.
Well, I got some good stuff to look at.
He's still an actor, Bob Newhart. I can't believe.
Of course he is. He's going to do whatever until it doesn't work anymore. You know what I mean? Like he's going to continue to do whatever.
The Newhart show was from 82 to 90. That was a good show. So Nick at Night had that was when they used to battle for all those slots, those like big nights, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And all those shows were like big time shows at one point,
Absolutely. That's good stuff.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, do you have
another one in the books?
Do you have any show recommendations for me? I'm finishing up Cobra Kai. I'm not done yet.
You got to finish that before you go on to anything.
Yeah. I think so.
It won't disappoint, I promise you.
No. I promise you're 100% correct. So.
But.
Oh, hey, I got to send something to you after. You'll love it.
Send it.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Great show. All-time high. All right. We'll end it right there. Get our outro. Thanks for coming again for the podcast. We'll see you guys all soon, and another great show.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Football and the Kitchen Sink with Coach Schuman and Coach Depascale. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. If you like what you heard, leave us a review and be sure to tell a friend. We will meet you back here next time on Football and the Kitchen Sink.